Hi all, Ashkana here, and today in the book club we're gonna talk about why you should read the Trainspotting by Irvine Welsh. First of all, this is probably one of the first books I read that were written in Scottish. At least not entirely, but for the, I don't know, 70% of it was Scottish. And this is literally something for which you need to be accustomed to while even reading. And certain words, they were written in the way that is definitely unrecognizable from the normal classic British English that you usually would study at school, at university, or whatever language course you've taken. And also it's far from the American as well, two most common versions of the English. So that's actually a nice challenge for those who are trying to improve their English proficiency to just, get out and read a book like that. And I have never heard of Irvine Welsh at all, and I didn't know that there is it's quite a cult film based on this book, and the book itself is also pretty nice. It sold over 1 million copies already, and it is a debut book from Irvine Welsh, the author who made it. And yeah, actually, the film which is based on it, with the same title, Trainspotting, is basically made quite a big influence on the pop culture. So this book, narrated by all the characters, not all the main characters, because I would personally perceive that the main hero here is Renton. I think his name is Mark Renton. The whole story goes around just junkies, the heroin addicts, drug addicts, whatever, people of mid-80s who were youth of mid-80s who were trying to go in with their lives with an entirely terrible drug addiction that basically ruined them all. So in the first part of the book, it sort of was split in several parts, and each part was narrated by a different character, and it depends on where this character is from. The language would also change, so mostly it will be Scottish used because most of the guys are from Scotland, from the town close to Edinburgh, I think. And then I think there was a guy who was English guy, that's why he was speaking in a more classic English, the one that we all kind of got used to already. How the book is written. So it goes about the friends who are being heroin addicts. Most of the lives of theirs are quite miserable, and what they actually leave just for another dose of the heroin, and this is the only things that they are relishing the moment when they actually get the dose. So at once they decided to quit it all and trying to reintegrate themselves into the normal life, and they drastically failed, which has certain funny moments in it. So the whole book goes with them going back and forth into their drug addiction, their problems. There was a woman whose child died and pregnant, and they also, of course, have the free love situation when everybody is with everybody. They're all sharing the things. There is barely any logic and reason behind their lives anymore, and really it's all so chaotic. Not only their lives, but also their way of thinking and their thoughts, and you all see it while you're just reading the book, and sometimes it's also getting a bit harder to understand where they're all coming from, and some of the thoughts are quite nasty, let's put it this way. So yeah, after trying to reintegrate themselves into life, they all failed and get back to where they've been before. I think it just covers a lot of nice description in the life of people like this. I personally being quite far from the drug use and people who use drugs, that's why seeing it from this perspective and what it was probably more common in the 80s, I'm not sure, at least this type of drug was more common back then, and now probably people mostly would use some ecstasy or whatever. It was quite interesting to look at their lives and the way they've been thinking and what is actually the spirit of that time was. because, you know, it was also the time when the punk rock appeared, and the punk rock was wildly popular back in the days. And that's really how the punk rock sounds. That's the way, the atmosphere this greasy, filthy book gives you. And, you know, so they were going on with their lives. There had been a funeral of their friend. There had been some other situations happening around. There's been their friend who wasn't a drug addict, but then he came into usage of this because of some problems in the relationships. But at the end of the day, yeah, they were all junkies who were really frustrated with the way their life was happening, and they seemingly were trying to do something about it, but nothing was really happening with them, so they were quite failing at trying to become normal. Because the whole book is more of a collection of short stories, if we can perceive it this way, it's hard to say that it basically has certain structured plot. You know, it goes from one short story of this character described by another character, then another character taps into, then some other life problems are appearing, and you know, you're more of a reading the diaries of each of the characters because it's all going from the first person experience most of the times, and you would just, it's all more based on understanding the character and understanding their pain and their thoughts, or like understanding how they are being ignorant of what is happening around them, rather than actually there is some story behind what is going on, while you could sort of connect a sequence of certain events and then make something out of it, but most of those I would personally argue that they are connected, but not to the point where everything needs to be in there. You know, it's all about the perspectives and different views on possibly even the same situations. I think my main advice for this book would be to read it with an open mind, and I think that those who, I hope most of my viewers, never been into such hard times. So what do you think about the book? Did you watch the film Trainspotting? Because that one was quite a hit, and it's one of the classics, I still think, personally, like one of the classics of the British film making. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what do you think about the book, if you read it, or if you watched the film. And as always, please give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time in the book club.